You guessed it. What are you watching is our first segment for the day. This we always love starting with something fun, and this is one that we've done. There's like two segments that we keep bringing back. It's this one and TikTok Tea Time, which I think might even be everyone's favorite. Yeah. But I can't wait to talk about some of the shows. I was itching to have those conversations last episode. But
I know.
So, looking at our first show or movie, actually, it's a movie. We have Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. I don't know why I always say it like with my weird wannabe
You do.
African accent. And I hope my friends in Kenya and Uganda that watch aren't like offended by my like fake accent. But it's all in love and respect. And like let's get into a little bit here with Wakanda Forever. We've got a great cast, a lot of deep themes that are going on in this film.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I know for sure where to begin with the combo. Yeah, there's so much though. So let's start off with our initial thoughts. Like, okay, you saw it when the final credits rolled. What did you think?
I loved it. It. Yeah. And I saw it in the theater where it's almost a 360 immersion. Like,
like IMAX?
Yeah, they have the screens on the side where you're like in the it's on this side.
Where was that at?
It's down here in Texas.
Oh, I forget that you're not here. I just got reminded that you are not in Lake County, Illinois.
Oh, I'm in 80-degree temperatures and
Sugarland, Texas.
360 immersion.
Living her best life, y'all.
Yeah.
And we over here freezing. I saw your picture of like a warm Christmas. I was about to reach through that Facebook and like.
I know one of my friends was like, it was hard for me to say something positive.
Oh, but so you had a great experience in that theater, like
yeah, but it was just like I think it was so many emotions in there. Like I love like the tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Like I was just like, oh yeah, it was just so good, so good.
Yeah, that I would agree. I think emotional and impactful are the ways that I would describe it. It was trippy to, I don't even know if trippy is the word. Transcendent. I think that movie was transcendent beyond. I can't think of any other movies. And what I mean by that is like, okay, you know how there's certain okay, this is a bad example, but She-Hulk.
Yeah.
In She-Hulk, how there's shows and movies like that where they address you in the audience, like she's like breaking that fourth wall, right?
Yeah.
And so in that way, it's trying to like transcend the experience of like I'm over here and you're over there and bridging the gap. This film did that, but I think in a way of the emotions that we are not only experiencing with the characters. And that's what you usually do with films. Like when they're giving you an emotional journey, you're experiencing some emotion about that character. And you're like, oh, I feel for that character. Da, da, da. This transcended that.
Yeah.
Because you have that experience and the actors have that experience about the actual person, the human being.
Yeah.
That was Chadwick Boseman and not just the character of T'Challa.
Exactly.
So it like blurred that line in a way that I was not expecting. And I was just like, I don't know, it kind of shook me to my core a bit.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was like, wow. Yeah, I just kept saying, wow.
Yeah, really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved their introduction of, we got Jonathan here. What up, Jonathan? Yo, yo, yo. And if you guys are showing up, come through, say hi. But I loved also, similar to how the first Black Panther introduced you to the beautiful hidden powerful and surprising world of Wakanda. We same thing now, and I can never pronounce it right. Is it Talakan or?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. But we get that same experience now with another, minority filled hidden world that has all sorts of power. That's even the power that's based on the same thing of this vibranium, So I thought that was, and they did a beautiful job. Historically in the comic books, Namor is actually from Atlantis, which is also the same location where Aquaman's from in DC. So I think Marvel was like, you know what, we're gonna let them have Atlantis, and we're gonna build this other
it up
thing.
A little bit.
Yeah. And they moved him from the Pacific Ocean, the comic books, to the Atlantic, which without actually ever naming nationalities in the previous version of him, you got a sense that he was more of a Pacific Islander, right? Which kind of is more of an Asian vibe. And now it's more like Central American, which I thought was cool. It took me a minute to like adjust, but I thought they did a really good job.
No, I thought so too.
We've been we've been talking about a lot of these characters. We haven't really shown them, but like when I first knew that they were going to go straight up comic book accurate with him as far as his look with the winged ankles, I was like, oh, is that going to work? And it did. It's like I don't know, could that be too much? But I don't think it was.
No.
And like you get a sense of how just the cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah. And what I liked about the when they did the underwater, because in Aquaman they were underwater, but it never looked like they were underwater. It looked underwater and it was blurry, and that was a tiny bit frustrating, but it was accurate. I mean,
that's how it would look.
Yeah,
that's how it would look.
Yeah,
the one knock I had for Aquaman, and I enjoyed Aquaman. I was surprisingly enjoying it. But the one knock I had for was there were a lot of the stuff sometimes visually looked cheesy, and it was like, this is like, and like specifically their underwater world stuff. It was like, I never thought that about the look of the world that they built for Talokan. Like I was like, oh wow, y'all did a good
legit.
job. Yeah, and these people, they don't play.
No,
they don't play.
Yeah, they were like some major competition for the Wakandans.
Who we also know don't play.
Exactly.
It's putting the rest of the MCU on notice. You don't mess with black people and blue people.
Like, man, they got that vibranium. They just butt.
They're coming for you. Yeah, I thought that was really dope. I enjoyed the introduction of Ironheart with Riri Williams, and we're gonna try not to spoil too much here, But I think you can tell. Maybe we won't say exactly who, but I liked the way that they brought Black Panther's character back to life. Because the heart-shaped herb had been burned up by Killmonger. So I liked their way to kind of get that brought back in there. One thing initially that I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I dig the look of the suit. So one, I'm not going to show it because it's kind of a spoiler, but Ironheart, she creates a suit. I don't want to spoil what it looks like, but I wasn't a fan of that look personally. Thought it was kind of Voltron-y. And I wasn't really a fan of the Midnight Angel suit.
No,
which is that outfit there. And then I gave them a break because I did a little bit of digging and I found out that that's actually 100% comic book accurate.
Okay,
like, that is exactly what it looked like in the comic book. So I was like, okay. And then after thinking about that, then I actually felt like, oh, now I really appreciate what they did there, because they had Okoye cracking on how ugly the suit was the whole time, wanting it. So it's like they knew, but they're like, I feel obligated to put it in here, but we don't like it.
No, it was a really good film with a lot of layers, and there's the surprise in there. I was not expecting that. I
Mm,
had let out an audible
yeah.
gasp. I was like, "Oh!"
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
There
I'm
was
like,
there was 2 parts where I was like, one in the middle, one at the very end.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah. I'm
yep,
like, man, this movie is good. It was so good. And then like even the how it's gonna tie in, how where they left it, how it's gonna tie
yeah,
in, and what's gonna be the repercussions of everything. It's
yeah.
gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree, I agree, and they even had another character in there that, has been showing up in a bunch of other
Yeah.
films that we
Mm,
don't really know a whole lot about. Now we're getting
yeah.
to know a little bit more about this character. I
Yeah.
think that really helped. And so if you guys haven't seen it, make sure you stick around to the end. There's only one end credit scene. It's actually
Mhm.
technically a mid credit scene. So
Yeah.
after they do like the fancy graphic credits,
Yeah.
there's a scene and then they go into, the black and white credits. You don't have to wait after all of those. But that there's a mid credit scene that you have to see
Yeah.
that changes a lot that I think
Yeah.
I thought was like a brilliant way to do things.
Me too.
Hey, Auntie Tammy, welcome, welcome, welcome. You got rid of it.
I was trying to get rid of Wakanda.
Welcome. If once again, if you guys are jumping in, let us know, and also in your comments, let us know what y'all thought of Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. But we've talked about that one a lot. I think we need to move on to the next show before we spend like 40 minutes just on the "What are you watching" segment. um, so, in a little bit quicker fashion, we got to talk about the hottest show on TV. I say this because, like, that's changed, right? Like, you can't anymore say like, "Oh, this is the biggest thing on television," because
Yeah.
most people don't watch TV like that no more.
Yeah. Yeah. And
When's the last time you've watched a live broadcast on TV, quote unquote? Do you even have
I
cable?
I don't I don't know. I mean, I'm planning this week to watch. They're doing that live action Beauty and the Beast, but other than
Um,
that, I don't watch TV unless it's something like that, like a just a major thing going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, and so Netflix, one of those that's definitely taking down the cable world. They've got a show out right now called Wednesday. Just a note, you guys, there's witchcraft and stuff that we're not trying to support as a biblical thing. Like we're just talking about this as silly entertainment. We're not in any way endorsing witchcraft. But anybody who was a fan of the Addams Family growing up, this is like the third iteration of it, I think.
Yeah.
They had the black and white version, and then they had one starring this gal right here, Christina Ricci, as
Yes.
Wednesday. And so she has a return in this show. But this show is definitely like ruled by this young lady, Jenna
Yeah.
Ortega.
Yes.
So what do you think about Jenna Ortega?
I like Jenna Ortega. She was in a show that I watched with my kids on Disney Channel, where she was like the middle child of seven, stuck in the middle, I think it was called.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I really liked that show. And then she was on this other Netflix show called You that I liked. But yeah, I loved her as Wednesday.
yeah.
She
She
was
crushed it.
definitely a little different than Christina Ricci's performance, because I think Christina Ricci is a more darker than
Yeah,
Jenna Ortega is naturally, but I did
yeah,
like her version of it.
yeah. I liked I liked how sold out she was to the idea of like never blinking. Like
Yeah,
she gives a
I know.
performance that's like eyes wide open the whole time and like
Exactly, exactly.
deadpan and all that. And you mentioned that she was in that show. Was it Stuck in the Middle? I think
Mhm.
I saw a little clip. I think somebody did it on TikTok or something, where they were like Jenna Ortega called her being in this role, like she predicted it. There was a line in that show where they're like talking about her role being
Yeah.
stuck in the middle. Is like, if I was a day of the week, I would be Wednesday. It was like, wow. Yeah. So I
Oh.
thought that was cool. Also, we got in the show, we've got Zeta Jones, Catherine Zeta Jones as
Mhm.
Morticia. Oh my gosh, what is his name? I can't remember his actual name.
I can't think of it.
He's been in like so many things.
So many things. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, I did not like him as Gomez.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie either,
Yeah.
because it felt like such a departure from the original
Yeah, I was
Gomez,
like,
you know?
I don't know how we arrived here, but I guess I gotta go with it because this is what I
Yeah,
got.
yeah. Yeah, I think he's probably my least favorite casting. Um,
Yes.
but I didn't let, because he doesn't play like a so central role, I didn't let it like
Yeah,
take over.
exactly. Exactly.
But you guys, if you haven't seen it, if you're somebody who's inclined to watch a thing like that, I
Mhm.
want to know if you can predict where it's going. It's basically like Nancy Drew
Yeah.
meets like Harry Potter
Yeah.
almost.
Basically.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's trying to solve like, a mystery that's going on in this Harry Potter like school that she ends up at. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of twists and turns, and I want to know if you guys can predict where it went. So, and if you did already see it, without spoiling it for anybody, we decided we weren't going to do spoilers today. Without spoiling it for anybody, put in the comments if you predicted it.
Yeah.
Note, I predicted it.
I did not.
Layla, I was watching it with Layla, and she was like just so upset because we were kind of having a competition. We're competitive,
Yeah.
and she was on a very different direction. And I nailed it down to even like one of the additional ways that the main villain was going to get defeated at the end. I'm not going to
Oh,
say
wow.
anything, but yeah. Oh, Abbott Elementary. You watching that show?
Oh, no,
Love
that's a
that
good one.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I don't know why we don't ever talk about that show.
we should. I mean, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna do this segment next week, but maybe season 3 when they come out with in
Yeah,
our season 4.
yes, I
But,
love that show.
yeah, it's a great show. Okay, and speaking of good shows, up next, we got another one. It's just weird, y'all. It's called Peripheral. Oh, I was gonna show trailers as we talked about these. Totally forgot about that. I knew I always forget something, Jario. Had them downloaded and ready and everything. So, um, but it's about this young lady and her family. Is it Flynn? I almost called her
Flynn.
Flynn Rider. It is not Flynn Rider.
Her name is Flynn. Yes,
Flynn Rider's from like Rapunzel or Tangled or whatever.
I think so.
Too much Disney in this house.
Right?
So, can you give them a quick overview of what the show is?
Oh, yeah, it's kinda like, VR. I don't know if anyone has VR goggles. I do, and I love them. But it's like being in the virtual reality world, but instead, like, your consciousness goes into a body that you have over there, and to walk around and do all kinds of stuff. You can got all these awesome skills. But yeah, it's like her going into this world that she's being paid to go there. And initially they wanted her brother, but she ends up going, and now it's like affecting her the past because turns out this world is the future. It's
Dun
really
dun
trippy.
dun.
Yeah, it's really trippy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's definitely a show that gets you thinking, like,
Mhm.
because you have to, like, keep your brain on. Like, there's
Oh,
shows that I'll put on in the background, is like, "Oh, that's a fun little, like,
mhm.
funny show."
Yeah,
This is not that. This
yeah,
is a show that you need to be, like, all tuned into and catching what's going on,
yeah,
and I'll let you guys know, it's got some gruesome stuff in it,
yeah.
it's not for
Not for the
the faint
kiddies.
of heart,
No.
and it's got some twists and turns, and this is just season 1 that has been released right now, so we don't
Yeah,
really know where it's going. But if you're
yeah.
looking for something a little different, something with some intrigue, something with
Mhm.
some characters with some dynamics, I think you'll
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
this one.
It's really good. They have
Yeah,
so many different characters. Yeah, that
yeah, they
bad
got
guy, that
the bad
Mr.
dude.
Pickett, he's the bad guy with his gang. And then the
Yeah.
guy that's like paraplegic, his
Oh
character,
yeah, what was his name?
I can't think of it, but yeah, it's
He's
just
one of my favorite characters.
yeah, very good, very good. Just a
Yeah.
very good show.
Well, we hope you guys check that out and like it. And if you check it out and you don't like it, you can blame Jariel, and you can email Jariel at. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I think it's a show that's interesting enough that
Yeah.
I would encourage people that are into little sci-fi futuristic stuff. Check it
Yeah.
out. That's on Amazon Prime. So enjoy that. And that is our What Are You Watching segment for today.
Woo.